You're listening to the Virtually Free Podcast, a place for all you digital nomads and freedom chasers out there get the real talk on what it's like to make a living online. Want to ditch the 9-to-5, vacation on your terms, discover the ins and outs of freelancing? Then you're in the right place. And now your host, Amy Damone.
Welcome back to episode 14 of the Virtually Free Podcast. Today's guest is Kasey Pierce. She is a digital marketer specializing in social media, Facebook ads, and funnels while supporting introverted entrepreneurs and juggling work-at-home motherhood. I hope you enjoy. Welcome back to today's episode of the Virtually Free Podcast. I have with me Kasey Pierce. Welcome.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Oh, it's a pleasure. So, Kasey, why don't you tell our audience in your own words, what it is that you do and that you're an expert in?
Well, I am a digital marketer, so I do social media marketing. I also do like Facebook ads, sales funnels, and then that is like one separate business. And then I also have a kind of a Facebook group / project that I am working on with a friend of mine, where we support introverted entrepreneurs by discussing mindset topics, marketing topics. So that's kind of our fun little project.
Awesome. And how long have you been doing this for?
So I got started with digital marketing in November 2016, so about 2 years almost. And then I started my Facebook group last August, so about a year ago, and I didn't really start growing it until like October. So, yeah, a couple of years for digital marketing, and then about a year for the introverted entrepreneur. It was kind of a revelation I had one day. So
amazing. So obviously, then, are you an introvert?
Oh, yes.
Awesome. I asked that, obviously. I know for the audience that is listening, I've been in the introvert Facebook group. It's really awesome. Anyone that knows me knows that I'm not an introvert, but it was really fun chatting with your community and getting to know them and stuff. So awesome. So, well, thanks. Welcome again. So we're going to talk about social media marketing for introverts, but everything we're going to be talking about on this episode is obviously going to be applicable to both introverts and extroverts, but it's just going to be something for, those people that are not as outgoing or whatever you want to say in online business. And you will be hearing a little puppy in the background. He or she is just really excited, and we're just going to roll with it because, I understand. My two are behind me, passed out. So, so tell me, Kasey, why is social media marketing so important in the online space? And I know this sounds like a dumb question, but I want to know from your words, like in your words, why it's so important.
Well, for starters, everyone is on it. Pretty much everyone is on social media, and you can reach so many more people with social media than you could have ever dreamed of. And it's essential for brand awareness, business growth, and also personal development. I've done a lot of personal development just by, seeing and talking to people on social media. And it's kind of like the hop in place.
That's awesome. I think it's really interesting that you talk about that, or that you mentioned the whole personal development, because when you break it down and you have to get into when you really start attacking, I use very offensive or not offensive, very abrupt, sorry, I'm going to cut this out. Give me a second. I am word vomiting right now. Okay. I really like that you mentioned that social media helps you with personal development, because when you're really attacking your social media strategy, it can be super overwhelming. For me, I hate it going on. I say past tense, but that is not, it's pretty much still happening. I hate going on video. And there's so many, my mind runs rapid. It says, oh, you need to put makeup on, or your hair is not done right, or you have pimples, something's happening. So I trick myself into not going on that day. So I love that you mentioned it. So feeds into my next question a lot. What are some like mental blocks that, you know, both introverts and extroverts have to overcome when it comes to social media marketing?
Okay. So I know a lot of introverts, and not just introverts, but extroverts as well, but they're shy. And not always, but a lot of the time they are. And so when it comes to putting themselves out there, it can be extremely difficult. And often, like, they're afraid of looking stupid or getting haters. And obviously, we're kind of our own worst critic. So we're constantly thinking about what we should have said or done differently, and just kind of critiquing ourselves. And then, so that kind of feeds into like my next point, is that overthinking is super common for, again, introverts, but also extroverts can do it too. But that's just, I don't know, it's just kind of what we do. We think and we listen. That's an introverted, typically an introverted, crap, what am I trying to say?
Characteristic?
Yeah.
Personality trait?
Yeah. Let me go over that again if you want to cut that little. So overthinking is a common introverted characteristic. And so we think and we listen. That's kind of what we do. And so we're often thinking about things like, how do people like my post? Or I don't want to post this because I don't want to offend someone or get haters, or I fumbled over my words and now I look like I don't know what I'm talking about. You know, just a lot of things like that. So, you know, it just is something that we just kind of have to, I guess, kind of push through and continue working on the personal development that helps.
Awesome. So I'm listening to you talk and I'm like, oh, maybe I'm an introvert. No, I'm not. I just have anxiety. But
oh yeah, that's something. Anxiety is something that introverts deal with a lot too. So, and I mean, obviously, again, not just introverts, but
of course, yeah.
Yeah.
I call that the spiral. Like, you're like, oh, you do something, and like, it's so funny because this happens to me all the time. And it's even as simple as like me posting like a photo of me like 3 years ago on Instagram. Okay, maybe not that, but like I'll post a photo on Instagram and it'll be part of my social media marketing. And I like to think that I'm a pretty good writer. So I'm like, I'm okay with that. But you know, there's a picture of me. So I'm like, oh, this is wrong. This is wrong. My arm looks weird. And then like 2 weeks later, I'll look at the photo and I'll be like, oh, wow, I look great in that. Like, you know what I mean? Like at the time, you're just like, you're so ready to pick it apart because, you know, your mind is playing tricks on you and, you know, it's trying to keep you comfortable. It's trying to keep you like in a safe space. And then, you know, 2 weeks down the road where you've kind of grown a little bit, you know, you've overcome those hurdles, you know, small roadblock at a time. And you're like, wow, that's great. I'm amazing. I experience that a lot. And like,
oh yeah, me too.
It's so hard though, because in the moment is when it really matters. You know what I mean? Like when you're about to press send or you're about to like post on or schedule or whatever you're using to do your social media. And it's just so funny. Like once you're like, wow, that was so like not pathetic. Sorry, that's not the right word, but like so childish. Like why is it? But you got to really think back. Like what is your brain doing to like prevent you from actually moving forward in all areas of business and life, but also like in relation to social media management. So what is your suggestion for helping people like me and you get over those roadblocks about being perfect on social media or having the appearance that you're perfect, because no one's perfect, right? So what would you suggest for all of us out there to get over these roadblocks?
So one of the biggest things that has helped me is finding a good mentor in not just like my industry, digital marketing, but also just like personal development. And also an accountability group has helped me. There are always people starting accountability groups, but they often fizzle out. So it can be kind of a daunting task, but when you find the group, it can do amazing things for your mindset and your productivity.
So let's dive in a little bit to accountability groups. So I love that, mainly because you're like, they all fizzle out. And I'm like, I've been in a lot of those. And like, I'm also like, I'm not saying that like it was the group's fault. Like we're all in it together.
Mm-hmm.
So how did you find one that really stuck? Was it a lot of trial and error? Was it just luck? What would you say?
Well, it was a lot of finding just somebody that I resonated with. So I'm in a mastermind group. It's like a mentorship program, and we have 2 amazing mentors within it, and then everyone in the mastermind is extremely knowledgeable. So it kind of fell into my lap just because one of the mentors that started the mastermind, she is also my digital marketing mentor. And so she has like this high level mentorship program. So it was kind of a natural progression for me. And I know that not everybody has that opportunity, but it just really has, I don't know, the people in the mastermind, because they're in it, they're investing in it, they're serious about what they're doing. And I think that's why the accountability group works so well. And it's been completely transformational because it's helped with my mindset, but also how I run my business and how I kind of get stuff done. And it's just been completely life-changing. But you know, it can be a lot of trial and error to find that right group, the one that is everybody's going to support each other and encourage each other and push each other when they need it. It can be kind of difficult to find that, but it's pretty amazing when you do find it.
Yeah. And I think it's really interesting and important to highlight that you talk about like when you pay to be a part of something, you take it a little bit more seriously, because I've tried to start Instagram pods before, or which, if anyone doesn't know what an Instagram pod is, it's like when a bunch of people just agree to like comment on all your posts and you do the same, and like all that stuff. And it's been fine, but because it was free and like we were all like, oh well, like, you know, we didn't do it one day and then there'll be another day and then it just kind of like falls to the wayside. But there's also the fact that, and I do this all the time, and I don't know if this is something you do, but you, in the moment, you're like, yes, let's do this. And then you're like, oh, wait a minute. Like, I didn't take into account that I'm like, I don't go on social media. You know, there are the people that like do not touch their phones from 9 to 5, which is amazing. And I wish I could do that. Or that they're like, oh, like I have my social media set up that I'm like, it automatically goes. So I'm not going to be on my phone. I'm not going to do that. Or it's just like the fact that you get a little scared. You're like, oh, this will like change. This isn't really what you're thinking, but this is what the process is going. This is going to really like grow my business, and I'm scared, and I'm going to stay here because it's comfortable, like all those things. So when money is involved, and I know so many people are like, oh, it shouldn't be about the money, but really when money's involved, you change, your commitment changes. I've seen it myself. So I love that you highlighted that. I'm going to go a little bit off top. Well, not off topic, but I recently read / listened to the second version of Crush It by Gary Vaynerchuk. So not his one in 2003 or whatever it was, but the one that he released in 2000, I think it was 17. And I was wondering, have you read either of his versions of Crush It or Crush and then Crushing It? Because that's his second one.
It is on my list. I have not yet, but definitely one of those. I'm trying to incorporate more me time. So I have this list of books that I want to read and get to when I start getting into a better routine, but I have not read it yet.
Awesome. So I'll talk a little bit about it for a second, but I also would like to point out, I don't have me time. I just had a really long drive, so I had something to listen to. I love when I talk about reading a lot, and it makes it sound like I have so much free time, but it's really because I'm stuck in long drives. But anyways, I think it's really interesting because the way that he talks about social media marketing is that like so matter of fact, just document yourself. Just do this. He doesn't say just, but like go out there and, be on social media. And I'm just like, it must be really nice to have like a very left thinking only brain because it's not that easy. So I since you haven't read it, we won't go too far into it, but thank you for shedding light on, it's not just like the masculine energy, you go out and you press post, because that's not really how it goes. So tell tell me, what are your favorite social media channels or tactics in today's online business world?
So I love LinkedIn for my business, and I also help clients if they're, LinkedIn is good for, pretty much any business, but especially if they're service-based and online, I'm like, you need to be on LinkedIn. And it's so great to network with others on there. And a lot of the times, myself and my colleagues have found clients that way. And so LinkedIn is probably my top favorite. And then I'm also partial to Facebook. I know a lot of people don't like it just because it can be tough to get organic reach and organic likes and all that. But I just love Facebook it just feels like it's this cozy little home, I guess.
I love that because it really is. And we also have to think like, this was like it wasn't the first social media. I know it wasn't. There was MySpace. There's all these other ones. I was on them all the time. But this was this was like huge one that literally everyone was on.
Yeah.
And because it was developed right when we kind of were in that age, like it was so new, it was so exciting. So everyone that was of age, except for the ones that lied about their age, would like hop on Facebook. And 10 years down the road, because I think it started in 2005, but it was pretty like widespread by like 2007. Everyone that was, in like of the ages between like 17 to like 25, like 30 at the time that Facebook was created, we've kind of grown with Facebook. We've kind of grown up with it. And I know that's kind of like a weird way to think of a social media platform, but it's really true. Like I went through a social media cleanse like 5 years ago, so I deleted everything. But for everyone else that didn't do that, they would have all these awesome memories of when they were like, in high school and like university and all this stuff, because it was really cool back then to post all those photos. And it was the only place that you really could post them. Instagram wasn't a thing yet. Flickr, is Flickr still a thing? I don't even know, but that wasn't really like popular. It wasn't a way to share your photos, where Facebook was the platform. So I like, Facebook will always be that cozy little home to me. It'll be like, oh, just checking in after like, I would get home from high school. I would like come on and be like, ooh, what friends did I not speak to today? And I would like go on Facebook. There's so much nostalgia in Facebook. It's actually kind of funny, but
yeah, for sure.
I would say that I'm really excited to see how Facebook grows its platform in the next little bit, because I know things are changing, and I'm really, really excited to see that. But sorry, yes. I got on a I love Facebook side sidebar. So because we're kind of talking, we're talking about both introverts and extroverts, but I would love for you to share if there are any platforms out there that are better for introverts and that would position themselves like better than extroverts on them, if that's even a thing.
Yeah. Not really, because I just think social media in general is just great for introverts and that's one of the reasons why I was drawn to it, is because going out and socializing, it just completely drains me. And even though social media also does that, but it seems like I can handle it a little bit better because it's not in person, feeling like I have to be talking and listening all the time. I just think it's easier to be an introvert online, and you kind of have more time to form your thoughts and how you want to put yourself out there and what you want to focus on. And so, my only suggestion would be, and this is for everyone, but to choose the platforms that your target audience is on. You don't have to be on every single platform. I tell my clients that it isn't necessary. And a lot of times they're like, oh, really? Like, I thought I had to be on all of these platforms to reach more people. And I'm like, if your audience isn't on it, then no. And most likely they are on 1 to 2, maybe 3 platforms. So, you can focus on one at a time and master it. And then, connect with your audience there. And then you can add another one in. You don't have to do it all like right now.
Totally. And I think it's really important to highlight that, because when I was first starting out, I was like, I need to be on everything. I've never been on Twitter ever. I think maybe for like a day.
Yeah.
I've never been on Twitter. So like, I'm like, I gotta get on Twitter. I gotta like bump that up. I gotta be on Pinterest. I gotta be on Snapchat. I gotta be on Instagram. I gotta be on, and like the list goes on. But I think the reality is if you're not like going, and I'm gonna use Gary Vaynerchuk's terminology. If you're not going all in on all the platforms, you're really doing yourself a disservice as well. Because if you're on Twitter and you're going on there like once a week or once a month and you're barely talking, it's going to look a lot worse than if you just didn't have a Twitter account, at least in my opinion. And you know, most other people. So it's really important to like be okay also with yourself, to be like, okay, I'm going to allow myself only to have, you know, Pinterest and Facebook and Instagram. And then until I'm really, really comfortable, I really get the scheduling down packed, I really get my content on lock, then maybe I'll go to LinkedIn, or then maybe I'll add 2 more. So what are your go-to social media platforms other than LinkedIn? So let's say your top 4.
Okay, so LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and this is kind of tough, between Pinterest and YouTube. I don't do a lot with them, but I'm just thinking like big picture. YouTube is so great for, especially like my industry, and you know, a lot of industries really. But Pinterest is also helpful as well. I would probably choose YouTube for the 4th one.
Pinterest is really great if your target audience is millennial women.
Oh yeah.
And that is my target audience. So I'm all up on Pinterest.
Oh yeah. Perfect.
Yeah, YouTube and like everyone's like, oh, it's gonna die. No, video is the way of the future. Like that is where we're going. So YouTube.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Wonderful. Well, thanks so much for chatting with me about all things social media marketing and introversion and all that jazz. As I always do, I would love it if you could leave the audience with some words of wisdom.
Sure. Well, when you're feeling overwhelmed, stressed out, just unplug. Shut down your computer, shut down your phone, go for a walk, read a book, take a nap, whatever recharges your batteries. And when you're feeling so overwhelmed, you're not going to be productive anyway, so don't try to push through it. That's something that I've done. I'm like, oh, I have to get this done. But it wasn't in the right mindset, and it didn't really help. So just knowing when to shut everything down has helped me tremendously.